What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's freaking cold out today. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and drop a like on today's video. This is going to be all for beginner riders. So if you are new to riding, or maybe you want to get your first motorcycle, specifically a sport bike, this is going to be the perfect video for you. I'm going to go over everything from the basic controls and getting on the road for the first time. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Now, one of the most important things when you are just starting riding a motorcycle is, of course, making sure that you have the proper gear. Today I've got my jacket on, I've got pants, boots, gloves are on the bike, and of course we're rocking the helmet. So you're not gonna obviously go out like this all the time. I'm just like this for today's video. However, the minimum I would say you want to ride with is at least get yourself a jacket, some gloves, and a helmet. You want to protect yourself when you're riding. Ultimately, this is a dangerous hobby and you want to take care of yourself while you're doing it. So I'm not going to get too much into it, but wear your gear. Second most important thing is understanding your limits and knowing what you're getting yourself into. Now, this is my first motorcycle. First time I ever rode a sport bike was when I bought this, and I rode it off the lot for the first time. So I did a lot of research, a lot of watching videos, and I did my MSF course, and that all made me feel comfortable with getting this as my first bike. Now, you may not be in that position, and that is totally okay. You might want to start on something like a Ninja 400 or a CBR 300 or something smaller that's going to be a bit more manageable when you're just getting started. So let's start off with some of the basic controls. Up here on the handlebars, on the left side, you're going to have the clutch lever. This engages and disengages the clutch, gives you power to the rear wheel. On the right side, on the handlebar, you're going to have the brake lever. This is the front brake. This is what's going to have 70% of your braking power. So this is going to be the main juice right here. Don't grab a handful of it, but you can grip it pretty firmly.
Firmly grasp it!
And give it a lot of brake, and the bike will be able to handle it. But you don't want to lock that wheel up, so definitely be easy with it. This is my power mode switcher right here, and this is the traction control switch right there. Turn signals right and left, and then push it in to cancel, and then the horn's right there. Obviously we got the ignition. Don't really need to go over that. As far as the foot controls go, down here on the left side, you're gonna have the gear shifter. Now, you've probably seen this before if you've watched any other videos about riding motorcycles, but on a bike it goes 1 down, 5 up. So if we're starting in neutral, first gear is going to be half a click down, and then you're going to do a full click up for second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth is all the way up. So right now the bike is in neutral. No, it's not. So right now the bike is in neutral, and if we wanted to go into first gear, we're just going to click down, half a click. Now it's in first gear. The bike's not going to allow me to go into second gear because it's not moving, but if I wanted to go into second, I would just do a full click up, and that would put me in second gear. So let's put it back in first. And if I wanted to get into neutral from first gear, all I would do is give it some light pressure, and now it's in neutral. We got the green N. Hopefully that's not super confusing. You'll get used to it. It's a little weird at first, but you just gotta try it out. Now over here on the right rear set, we're gonna have the rear brake pedal. Now this one is not gonna be as strong as your front brake, so do not use this as your main braking power. And if you lock this wheel up, it's actually not as bad as locking up the front. You can actually just keep the brake pressed down, keep the wheel locked. It'll slide, but you'll still have control over the brake with the front tire. If you lock up the front tire, it's a completely different story. If you lock with the front tire, you're gonna want to let go of the brake completely and then firmly reapply it. You definitely don't want the front wheel to lock under any circumstances, so that's why I said be very, very graceful with that front brake. Now that we've gone over some basic controls, let's go ahead and jump on the bike, and I'll show you guys how to get moving for the first time. So getting on the bike is super, super simple. You're just going to put your left hand on the left handlebar, right hand is going to grab the brake, and then you're going to swing your right foot over the seat. And now you're on the bike. So we can go ahead and put the kickstand up. Don't need that. So in order to start the bike up, we're going to go over one of the controls that I just realized I missed earlier, which is obviously the most important. It's going to be the kill switch and the engine starter. So with the kill switch right now, if I wanted to start the bike, nothing would happen. I'm going to have to click it down, and now the kill switch is disengaged and the bike is going to go ahead and start. There we go. So what I want you guys to do is when you're first starting, when you're on your first bike, I want you to feel out where the friction zone is on the clutch. And the friction zone is basically the point where the clutch starts engaging with the engine and you start feeling that power getting applied to the rear wheel. So I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. If I pull the clutch all the way in and I put the bike in first by clicking down on the foot pedal, As I start slowly letting the clutch out, you guys are going to see the bike start moving. There we go. So right now the clutch is just barely engaged. I'm just walking the bike. And then if I pull it in, it stops. So always remember that when you pull the clutch all the way in, you're taking power away from the bike. So the bike is no longer going to be propelling forward. If you ever get yourself in a sticky situation,
does it feel good?
The first thing you're going to want to do in most cases is pull the clutch in to stop giving power to the bike. We'll go ahead and feel that out. Just do that a couple times. Start engaging the clutch, pull it in, stop, start engaging the clutch, walk the bike a bit, pull it in, apply the brake, stop. So once you feel like you have that down, now I want you to start letting the clutch out, walk with the bike, and start slowly letting it out more and more and more, and eventually you're going to be able to let go of it completely. And we'll turn around here. So right now the bike is completely going on its own. I have no hand on the clutch and I have no hand on the throttle. So this is the point that I want you guys to get to, where the bike is just rolling, you have the clutch fully out, and then I want you to pull the clutch in, apply both brakes, and come to a stop. And that is how you ride a motorcycle. That is the very first step to riding your very first motorcycle. So if you guys have gotten that far, definitely feel proud of yourself, because that is not something that everybody can do, and most people are very, very afraid of motorcycles. So if you get that far, good on you. Now let's go over shifting gears. And shifting gears is exactly the same steps as shifting gears in a car. And if you've never shifted gears in a car, you're essentially going to pull in the clutch, roll off the throttle, shift gears, let the clutch out, and slowly roll back on the throttle. When you're rolling, it should be all one very smooth motion. Throttle, clutch, shift gears, clutch, throttle. It should be all one smooth motion. I'll go ahead and show you guys. Click down into first, start slowly letting out the clutch, and this time we're going to give it a little bit of throttle. Okay, so now we have a little bit of throttle open. We're at about 3,000 RPMs, and now we're going to pull the clutch in and roll off the throttle, shift up in a second, let the clutch out, and back on the throttle. I'll show you guys that again, a little faster this time. So we're in first gear, we're rolling. All right, now I want to shift gears. Let's go down this way, and I'll show you guys how to downshift. Okay, so we're in fourth gear. I'm gonna roll off the throttle, pull the clutch in, click down, clutch out, throttle on. It sounds like a lot of steps, but I promise you guys it's very simple. You're gonna wanna do this in some type of empty space that you can find. Right now it's Sunday, I'm in an industrial part of town where nobody's really working. So this is ideally the environment you wanna practice in. We're gonna roll off the throttle, pull the clutch in, downshift, and then let the clutch out and get back on the throttle. Ready? There we go. And you wanna be very smooth getting back on the throttle. So just to recap, what we've done so far is we learned the controls, right? Clutch, brake, gear shifter, rear brake. We learned how to start and stop the motorcycle, right? Slowly let the clutch out, slowly roll on the throttle. And we've also learned how to upshift and downshift. Now that is the basics right there. That is pretty much everything you need to know to at least get started with riding the bike. Now I'm going to teach you guys a couple tips about turning before we end this video, and then you guys will be ready to try this out on your own. Now there's two types of steering. There's counterbalancing and there's counter steering. Now counterbalancing is a technique used at low speeds in order to lean the motorcycle over at a low speed and to not have it fall over. You have to counter that balance of the bike with your body weight. So if I wanted to turn the bike left with the handlebars, the bike, once I have it leaned over, it's going to want to fall over. So I need to shift my body weight to the right side of the bike so it doesn't do that. So I'll show you guys what I mean. So with counterbalancing, if I wanted to go around one of these yellow barriers, what I would have to do is put my body weight on the right side of the bike and let the bike kind of fall over to that side and use the clutch to maintain my speed. Same thing, I want to go to the right, my body weight's on the left side. That was kind of wide, but you guys get it. I'm balancing the weight of the bike falling over to the left by putting my body weight on the right. And we go left again, body weight on the right side. I'm literally hanging off the bike right now. So this is what you guys want to be practicing, because at slow speeds you might need to do this at some point, and it's always a good skill to have in the book. You guys all remember that famous scene from Cars where he's like, in order to go left you got to turn right.
Oh, right, that makes perfect sense. Turn right to go left.
There's a truth behind that, right? When you're going a certain speed, the momentum of the direction you're going is an object in motion wants to stay in motion, right? So at a high rate of speed, if you turn your handlebars slightly to the right, the bike is going to fall over to the left, and then you're going to be able to make a left turn. Same thing, if you turn your handlebars slightly to the left, the bike's going to fall over to the right side and you can make a right turn. Rather than thinking about turning the handlebars the opposite way, just think about this. If you want to go right, push right. If you want to go left, push left, and the bike will fall over in that direction and let you make the turn. I'll show you guys what that looks like. So we're gonna start just like we always done. I just click the bike into first, and I'm gonna slowly let the clutch out, slowly give it some throttle. Now we're rolling. I'm gonna go ahead and shift up into second, shift up into third, and now we're rolling. So check this out. If I push on the left handlebar, watch what's gonna happen. The bike fell over to the left. If I wanna go right, I'm gonna push on the right handlebar, watch what happens. Go back left, go back right. And you guys notice that at this kind of lower speed, the bike swerves. The bike swerves in either direction. Watch, we'll go around this turn and I'll show you guys how to practically use counter steering. So it's turning, I'm pushing on the right handlebar, I have light pressure applied to it, and I'm straightening it out. Now you don't want all your body weight to be pushing on the handlebar because you're going to destabilize the bike, but you want to apply light pressure enough to get the handlebar in the direction you want it to go. So windy. We'll save that tutorial for next time. But anyway guys, so yeah, that's pretty much it. If you are an absolute beginner, that is how you can get started riding a motorcycle. It does not have to be a sport bike like this one. You can get yourself a little freaking Grom for all we care. If you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a like, subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna have more videos coming out soon. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one.